Anthony Martial now has scored 2 in 2 on tour for Manchester United. I wonder whether or not Erik ten Hag is going to be able to reintegrate him into the starting lineup. Of course, he wants Frankie de Jong, which is the main issue, which we will discuss with Phil as soon as he is able to join us. But
very good, Phil. We spoke to him, Southern Jim, in Madrid for the European for the Champions League final between Tottenham and Liverpool.
Yes,
and Phil joined us on that particular one. And he's incredibly astute of understanding the Spanish market. He's been out there for years, so he will give us some insight, because no one can make sense of this. We cannot make sense of how a £17 million transfer is being held up by £17 million worth of wages.
Well, what is interesting is Barcelona's entire entity is very difficult to make sense of.
Why is that then?
Well, because obviously they're in a situation where they don't seem to be able to register these players that they are buying.
Yeah.
Let's ask Phil a little bit more details on that. Phil, hello.
Hello, guys.
Yeah, one of the things that does always perplex me is the fact that they seem to have agreed on a couple of occasions now to sign players. Players have been touted as Barcelona players and agreements have been reached, but then it takes ages to register them. Why is that?
Because they need to free up salary space to be able to register them, which is why they're so absolutely desperate for Frankie de Jong to go. They can't register at least 3 players until he goes. It's probably not the best strategy, is it? You should probably have a free space for these players before you actually sign or agree signing new players. But yeah, a lot of things haven't made sense with Barcelona over the last few years.
Yeah, and so obviously there is a situation in terms of the financial restraints that have been placed on them by La Liga. Is that to do with the amount that they can spend on transfer fees or salaries?
Both. The thing is with Barcelona, they have actually freed up a lot of money now. They do have money to spend. People are suggesting that they do have this debt, and of course they do.
But they've been selling their CD rights. And they freed up a lot of money for that. They sell 10% of their TV rights for the next 20 years, and they're going to sell another 15%. They've brought in hundreds of millions of euros, and they're going to bring in more money in the next few days. So they do have money now to spend, but yeah, they just need to make sure that they're within the limits that La Liga have set. But yeah, people are suggesting, how can they be spending this kind of money when they're in such financial constraints? Well, this is why they are mortgaging their future. For the present, they are saying we're going to earn less in the future, but we're going to get this nice big clump of money.
Yeah, and they're getting past their short-term. They're getting past their short-term problems, because ultimately that's a short-term problem which is being compounded by Liga. La Liga also asking clubs to change their salary cap positions in terms of regulating the league, which, by the way, I think is very brave of Javier Tebas, and I think is a very strong initiative. Phil, walk us through this scenario that seems to make no commercial sense to me as a former owner, and seems to make no sense to anybody even as laymen, that you've got a £70 million transfer being held up by a €70 million transfer being held up by a €17 million deferred debt on wages. What the hell's going on there?
Well, what happened is during the pandemic, they had to defer wages. So they said to Frankie de Jong, who was earning €14 million a year, first year, can you just make $3 million and then we'll pay you later?
Yeah.
Second year, we'll pay you $9 million and then we'll owe you a little bit.
We get that, but why are they not prepared to give him his money on the way out, and they're holding up £70 million worth of revenue?
Yeah, well, that is a good question. One, because I'm not inside the workings of Barcelona and Joan Laporta, I can't tell you exactly why that is happening. But
is it getting covered in the Spanish press? Because it seems to make no sense to us that if you need the revenue from a £70 million transaction, why would you put it at jeopardy over a £17 million liability, which is irrefutable?
Well, there is also the fact that Frankie de Jong doesn't want to go. He doesn't want to leave Barcelona. He does not want to join Manchester United. He's been pretty clear about this. I mean, Barca are absolutely desperate for him to leave. Manchester United are pretty keen for him to sign. Frankie de Jong doesn't want to go. I mean, he's been pretty clear about this. So that is what is holding up the deal, not necessarily this deferred wage, which they will find a way of getting it round.
Yeah.
What is holding up the deal is that Frankie de Jong doesn't want to go.
So it's not the money on the way out, it's the fact he doesn't want to go to Manchester United.
And he's using it as an excuse not to leave.
Absolutely, and he's well within his rights. He's owed this money. And something else as well. During the pandemic, he would have seen people like Gerard Piqué, Sergio Busquets, people who have come through the La Masia Youth Academy. They really feel the Barcelona colours or whatever. Yeah. And they didn't take any pay cut. They just said, all right, we'll defer it as well. So they said, okay, well, they deferred their money. They didn't take a pay cut. I'm not going to lose any money. I've come here from Ajax. I'm owed this. there should be no reason to expect him to do any favours to Barcelona.
So what are Barcelona saying to him? Because that's the part we can't understand, Phil. Do you know? Because are Barcelona saying you've got to take a haircut on this 17 million, or they're not going to pay it, or you've got to take it over a longer period of time?
Barcelona are saying, we have to sell you, and we're not going to take you on the pre-season tour, and we're going to leave you out to get this deal done, because we need to sell you. We need the money to be able to continue with our
we understand that, Phil, but what we're saying is United are ready to buy him. A deal's been done by the clubs. The player doesn't want to go, but if he's going to go, he's going to go. But Barcelona don't seem to want to give him his 15 million quid.
So how is it going to play out, I suppose, is the big question.
They will find a way of getting him that 15 million quid. That is not the stumbling block. The stumbling block is Frenkie de Jong.
Right, okay. So what sort of character is he then? For someone who doesn't know him, is he the kind of guy who is going to dig his heels in and ensure that he does not get pushed out the door by Barcelona? Or is he going to eventually have to just take his medicine and go to Manchester United? And that doesn't really bode well for them if he doesn't want to go.
It doesn't, does it? It's interesting. A lot of people have been suggesting that he isn't going to go. And I've been speaking to people who are in Barcelona, who are close to the campus, suggesting he wants to stay. He's very happy in Barcelona, just bought a new house. Got married there. He doesn't want to leave Barcelona. So there's no way that they can force him to go. They can say, you're not going to play. And he can say, okay, then. But I think he's probably just thinking, I will ride it out at some point. They will have to play me, and I won't have to go to Manchester. Just on a side note, the way that Spanish journalists and the way that Manchester United has been discussed in the Spanish press recently has been really surprising to me. Manchester United once this huge, enormous sporting entity with this vision here in Spain that they were, the creme de la creme. And now people are just thinking, well, I can understand why he doesn't want to go to Manchester United. It's only Manchester United. They're not playing Champions League football. They've got nothing really going for them. New manager, Cristiano Ronaldo, wants to leave. So, just on a side note, the cachet that Manchester United might once have had, certainly here in Spain, has certainly dropped. And, he doesn't want to go.
Are Barcelona in a position where they can, obviously not force him out, but suggest to him that maybe there is another route out of the club, maybe somebody else who's touting around an interest in him? Because he was linked with Chelsea not so long ago as well. Or is he just of the belief that he wants to play for Barcelona? I think he said earlier in the transfer window, I'm already at my dream club.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing. He is literally already at his dream club, living in his dream city. I think he very much enjoys the quality of life. Like I said, he's just bought a new house. He's very much installed there. What can they do? They can threaten him. They can say, you're not going to play. You're not coming on this pre-season tour. You're not in our plans. We've got loads of other midfielders. We don't need you.
Have you ever had that? Have you ever had a situation where you've got to try and force someone out?
It's an interesting dynamic because Phil's obviously a Madrileño, so his perspective is going to be about Madrid. But the other side of the argument has been done by Barcelona, where they've actually gone to war with Dembele and made him have his mind concentrated about a new contract.
Well, they haven't really gone to war with him. They've just said to him, this is the money and you're going to have to sign it.
No, they did go to war with him at the beginning of this year. They basically said, you can't train with us, we're kicking you out the door, we want you nowhere near the football club.
And now he's taken... they offered him a 40% wage cut, and it's even worse than that now, the deal that he's had to sign.
But the point that Phil's making is a really good point, is what the hell are Manchester United doing? They don't. If this player doesn't want to come to Manchester United,
why are they spending so much time on it?
God's name would they be spending so much time wasting their time on a player that's doing a favour coming to to them?
Yeah.
Well, the manager wants him, doesn't he?
I know, but come on, Phil. Madrid wouldn't operate this way, would they?
No, they would not.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the TalkSport app and on your smart speaker. TalkSport.